Hello friends. now, now we are going to start the revision. We'll start with the polynomials. Okay, we'll see which type of questions are uh, different type of questions are in this chapter, as well as we'll see that which particular portion is has been deducted from your syllabus. Let us start polynomials. We'll see in very short what is the polynomial. See, any expression if it is in the form of in this way, that is x or a0 plus a1 x raised to 1, a2 x raised to 2, a3 x raised to 3 up to an x raised to n is called a polynomial, where a0, a1, a2, a3 up to an are the real numbers, and uh, this uh, exponent of each variable, as you can see, it must be a whole number. So it should not be negative, as well as it should not be in decimal. It must be a whole number, and the variable should be in the numerator. Then we will say the given expression is a polynomial. Now, this a1 is called the coefficient of x raised to 1, a2 is called the coefficient of x square, a3 is called the coefficient of x cube, a0 is called the constant, or in other words, I can say it is the coefficient of x raised to 0. This is the leading term, maximum power, so leading term, and the coefficient of the leading term is called the leading coefficient. That is the very basic about the polynomials. Let us see some examples. If I write x square plus 2x plus 3, it is a polynomial. If I write x square plus 1 upon x minus 3, then it is not a polynomial. Why? Because here in this term variable is in the denominator. I have, when I put it in the numerator, this remains, this will become x raised to minus 1, and here exponent of variable is not a uh, not a whole number. This is minus 1, it's not a whole number, so it is not a polynomial. If I write px is equal to x plus 2 uh, 2 into 2 root x. This is again not a polynomial, because when I write this x in the form of exponent, this will become x raised to 1 by 2. 1 by 2 is not a whole number, so it's not a polynomial. So here we'll get a very first type of question, that an expression is given to you and they will ask whether it's a polynomial or not. It might be asked in true and false, as well as in fill in the blanks or MCQ. So let us see one or two question. We have to identify whether the given expression is a polynomial. So from your material I am taking some questions. Suppose we have expression x cube plus x square plus x into x raised to minus 1. This we have to identify whether it's a polynomial or not. Okay, then let me take one more example. Minus 3x root x minus x minus 3x root x. Now these two expressions are not in the standard form. Okay, here there is a product of two terms. This is the first term, this is the second term. Here again there is a bracket. So just by looking at the polynomial, it is not possible to identify whether it's a polynomial or not. For example, here if you see, you will find minus 1, x raised to minus 1. So just on the basis of that, it is not possible to identify whether it is a polynomial or not, because it might possible when you multiply, there is a, you won't find any term in which power is uh, not a whole number. So we have to simplify this. Similarly, over here the bracket is there, unless until we won't open the bracket, we won't cancel the term if possible, then only it is possible to identify. So let us see the first one. If I multiply, this will become x raised to 2 plus x raised to 1 plus x raised to 0. Ultimately, it will become x square plus x plus 1. Yes, this is a polynomial, because over here the powers or the exponent of the variable is a whole number. Okay, now over here If I open the bracket, minus 3x root x. Now, just by first look, it gives root x. Root x means x raised to 1 by it. So, it's not a polynomial. Just by seeing it, we can conclude this. But unless we want open and simplify it, uh, don't get any conclusion. So, over here you can see these two terms will cancel out. 3x root x with negative and positive sign. So what we left with? Only minus x. Yes, this is a polynomial because power of the variable is a whole number 1 and it is a whole number. So in this way it is easy to identify whether the given expression is a polynomial. So that was the very first type of question that can be asked. Now moving further, now we'll see classification of polynomials in short. Okay, classification of polynomials. Classification of polynomials. Now on the basis of degree as well as on the basis of number of terms. Number of terms, it's very easy. If it is a single term, it's a monomial. If it has two terms, when I say two terms, the term should be distinct. So if I say px is equal to x square plus x plus 7x. So this is not a trinomial because here x and 7x I can add and that will become 8x. So it's a binomial. Okay, if I write px is equal to pi plus root 2 plus root 3. Okay, so many of you say this is not even a polynomial. No, it is a polynomial. Okay, as well as it's a monomial. All three terms are real numbers. We can add them and we will get a single term. So it is a monomial. Okay, so on the classification, first we'll see on the basis of degree. So before I come to the classification on the basis of degree of the polynomial, let me explain you what is the degree of polynomial. Now degree of polynomial, simple, its simplest definition ever. The maximum power of the variable in a polynomial is called the degree of the polynomial. That means first you have to check whether it is a polynomial or not, and if it is a polynomial, then definitely the maximum power of the variable is called the degree of the polynomial. Okay, for example, if I say x raised to 5 plus x cube plus 3, the degree of this polynomial is 5 because 5 is the greatest among the powers. Okay, then if I say 3x raised to 3x or 7x raised to 2 minus 3x cube plus 0x raised to 5 plus 7. So many of you may say that this is the as the degree or the variable maximum power of the variable is 5, so degree of the given polynomial is 5. No, here it is 0 into something. That means this term actually not there. I can remove this directly. 0 is there. So over here degree is 3 because maximum power of the variable is 3. Okay, so that you have to check to whenever you have to find the degree of the polynomial. Now what we will see, the classification of the polynomial on the basis of degree. In short, we have to say, so linear polynomial, if you have a linear polynomial, degree is 1. Okay, example or standard form is ax plus b is px equal to ax plus b. Px is equal to ax plus b and a should not be equal to 0. Example, I can say px is equal to x plus 2 or py is equal to y. Okay, so this I can say it's a linear binomial. This is a linear monomial. Okay, then after that we have quadratic. Now, quadratic polynomial degree is 2. Standard form is ax square plus bx plus c. A should not be equal to 0. Now why I am writing a should not be equal to 0? See, if I make a 0 over here, that means this term won't be there. If this term won't be there, then in that case maximum power of the variable will be 0. Then in that case this won't be linear, this will become a constant polynomial. Similarly over here, if I make a 0, then this term won't be there. In that case maximum power of the variable will be 1 and then this will become the linear polynomial. This won't be quadratic polynomial. So a should not be equal to 0. Now example, I can write px is equal to x square plus 2x plus 3, or px is equal to x square minus 5. These are the examples of quadratic polynomial. Even though I can write py is equal to y square, this is also a quadratic polynomial. This is quadratic monomial, this is quadratic binomial, this is quadratic trinomial. Okay, after that we have cubic polynomial. Degree is 3. Standard form is ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d. Again, a should not be 0. In short, I can say uh, the leading coefficient should not be 0. Okay, leading coefficient should not be 0. For example, I can write px is equal to x cube, py is equal to 2y cube minus 3y. This is a linear, sorry, this is a cubic monomial. This is cubic binomial. Px is equal to x cube plus x plus 3. This is cubic trinomial. Okay, so these are the examples of cubic polynomial. Then next is biquadratic. Biquadratic. So degree is 4. Okay, standard form is ax raised to 4 plus bx cube plus cx square plus dx plus e. Again the condition a should not be equal to 0. Okay, this is a biquadratic polynomial. Then example, if we talk about example, so px is equal to x raised to 4, or uh, py is equal to y raised to 4 minus 3y plus 2. This is, I can say, biquadratic trinomial. This is biquadratic monomial. So this is the classification of the polynomials on the basis of degree. Okay, now we will see classification on the basis of number of terms. It's very easy. Single term monomial, 2 terms binomial, 3 terms trinomial. That's it. That is all about the classification of the polynomial, basic about the polynomial. Now after this, next we will see the value of polynomial. Next concept that we have to see, that is value of polynomial. Now value of polynomial is means that we have to, suppose we have to find the value of polynomial at given value of a variable. For example, px equal to x square minus 3. We have to find the value of this polynomial at x equal to 7. So value of polynomial px at x equal to minus 3 is given by p of 7. 7 square minus 3, that is 49, minus 3, that is 46. That's it. That is the value of polynomial. It's very easy to find the value of a polynomial at given value of the variable. Okay, so let us see one more question on this. Find the value of px is equal to x cube plus x square minus 3x plus 2 at x equal to 3. This is the first type of question that can be asked. One more, that for px is equal to x 2x cube minus x square plus 7, then find p of minus 2 and p of minus 1. These are the two types of question that can be asked on the value of polynomial. So let us see the solution of first. We have px is equal to x cube plus x square minus 3x plus 2. So as we have to find the value of this polynomial at x equal to 3, so simply what we have to do, therefore p of 3, simply we have to replace the variable by the given value of the variable. So here it will be 3 cube plus 3 square minus 3 into 3 plus 2. So this will be 9, minus 9 cancel, 27 plus 2, 29. Okay, just I am giving you the different type of example. Okay, what is the proper way to write this, that you already know. Okay, now second we have to find p of minus 2. For the second we have px is equal to, is the same thing. The only way is the which is different, that is the framing of question. Here they are saying that find the value of polynomial at x equal to 3. Here they are saying simply find the p of minus 2 for the given polynomial. So p of minus 2 is equal to 2 into minus 2 cube minus 2 minus 2 square plus 7. So that gives you minus 16 plus, sorry, minus 4 plus 7. Okay, that is minus 16 plus 3 minus 13 is the final answer. Okay, so this is the answer. So this is the second concept, that to find the value of a polynomial at given value of the variable. Okay. Okay, now they can ask one more type of question can be asked in on this concept, that you have to verify whether the given value of variable is a, okay, is a okay, that is based on next concept, zero of polynomial. Next concept is zero of polynomial. Zero of polynomial. This is one of the important concept, zero of the polynomial. Now, zero of the polynomial or the root of the polynomial, here we can say are the same thing. So, zero of the polynomial means that value of variable for which the polynomial becomes zero. For example, if I take px equal to x square minus 4. Now, if I put x equal to 2 over here, then definitely it will become 0. So I will say 2 is a 0 of the polynomial. If I put x equal to minus 2, again it will become 0. So I will say 2 minus 2 is also a 0 of the polynomial. So for this polynomial there are two zeros, plus 2 and minus 2. So in this concept, the very first question, that we have to verify whether the given value of the variable is 0 of the polynomial or not. For example, let us see, we have a polynomial px equal to 2x minus 1. We have to check whether x equal to 1 by 2 and x equal to minus 1 by 2 are zeros of this polynomial or not. Or we have to verify whether either we have to check or we have to verify. So here we will check. So for that what we'll do, we'll find p of 1 by 2. P of 1 by 2 gives you 2 multiplied by 1 by 2 minus 1. So 2 and 2 cancel, 1 minus 1 0. So definitely 1 by 2 is a 0 of the given polynomial. Now p of minus 1 by 2. So 2 into minus 1 by 2 minus 1. So this gives you minus 1, because 2 and 2 cancel, again minus 1. That is minus 2. As p of minus 1 by 2 is not equal to 0, it is equal to minus 2. That means it is not equal to 0. So minus 1 by 2 is not a 0 of the polynomial. Okay, so this is how we have to check, or how we have to verify whether the given value of variable is a 0 of the given polynomial or not. Okay, we will also see how to find the zeros of the polynomial. But before that, we'll see a graph of the polynomial. So next concept is graph of the polynomial. See, graph of the polynomial is omitted from your syllabus, but a very small thing that we have to take care in that case, for the graph of the zero of the graph of a polynomial, we'll see what is the meaning of geometrical meaning of graph of polynomial. Okay, see, very first thing, suppose if I take a polynomial px equal to 2x minus 3. That means if I take a linear polynomial, the, what you have to remember in this, for a linear polynomial, graph is always a straight line. Graph is always a straight line. So this might be one condition, or this might be the second condition. That means the straight line might intersect at x axis at one point, or it may not intersect the x axis at any point. So what you have to remember in this case, for linear polynomial, for linear polynomial, the very first thing that you have to remember, that graph is a straight line. Okay. Type of graph is straight line. Okay, the first thing. Second thing, it may intersect x-axis at one point or it may not intersect x-axis at any point. That means the graph of a linear polynomial intersect the x-axis at most one point, not more than one. So second thing, intersects the x-axis at most one point. Okay, that is about linear polynomial. Now second is quadratic polynomial. Now quadratic polynomial, if you draw the graph of a quadratic polynomial, you will get a parabola. You will get a graph something like this, in this way. Okay, there are 6 varieties in this graph that you may get. Let me draw all these. This is the first way, this is the second way, this is the third way, and remaining 3 ways, when we see here, it is open upwards, this will say as open upwards. Now remaining 3 ways in which the graph will be the open downwards. Okay, this type of graph is called the parabola. So for a quadratic polynomial, you will always get a parabola. Now if you observe, this parabola intersect x-axis over here at 2 points, over here at 1 point, or over here at no point. That means uh, the graph intersects the x-axis at most 2 points. Now here one thing more, uh, number of the points of the intersection between the graph and the x-axis. Okay, I'm repeating, number of intersection points between the graph and the x-axis gives you the number of zeros, or the number of actually real zeros. Here the graph intersects the x-axis at 2 points, so definitely uh, the quadratic polynomial whose graph is this has 2 distinct zeros. Okay, 2 distinct zeros. Over here at the graph is intersecting x-axis at exactly 1 point. It means the graph has only 1 zero. Okay. Over here the graph is not intersecting the x-axis at any point. That means this this quadratic polynomial does not have any real zeros. Okay, so that is the second thing that you have to understand. For quadratic polynomial, graph is parabola, intersects the x-axis at at most at most 2 points, at most 2 points, intersects the x-axis at most 2 points. Okay, so that these two things you have to basically understand. For a linear polynomial, graph is a straight line. Its vice versa is also true. That means suppose I gave you a graph which is a straight line, definitely it represents a linear polynomial. If I gave you a parabola, then definitely it represents the quadratic polynomial. Okay, now other than that, for cubic polynomial or for biquadratic polynomial, there isn't any fixed type of shape of the graph. So for two you have to remember, for a straight line, linear polynomial, for quadratic it's parabola. Now which type of question can be asked over here? Now that we will see, two types of question can be asked on the basis of the graph of the parabola. Now before I come to that, let me discuss one thing. See, for linear polynomial it was at most 1. For quadratic it was, that means the graph intersects the x-axis at most two polynomials. So it means suppose we have a polynomial whose degree is n. Here the degree is 1, so graph is intersecting at most 1. I am not saying exactly 1 or always 1. At most 1, not more than 1. Here for quadratic polynomial, definitely graph may intersect at most 2 points. Degree is 2. So for cubic, the graph will intersect at most 3 points. It won't intersect more than 3 points. It might intersect at 1 point. It might intersect at no point, but definitely not more than 3. Okay, so in the same way, if I say I have a polynomial whose degree is n, then graph of that polynomial will intersect the x-axis at most n points. Okay, now which type of questions can be asked in this? Some graphs will be given to you. For example, this is the one graph, this is the second graph, this is the third graph, this is the fourth graph. So now very first question that can be asked, that identify the whether the graph represents a linear or quadratic. They never ask more than that, either linear or quadratic, because only two types of shapes are fixed. For one is for linear, another one is for quadratic. Any other shape does not uh, clearly says that which type of polynomial it will be. Second thing, they will ask you find the number of zeros. So over here the graph is straight line, so it's a definitely linear polynomial. It intersects the x-axis. By default I am considering this is y, this is x. So here it is y-axis, x-axis. So linear polynomial, and the 0 is 1. Now one thing more, here you can see this intersection point is on the left side of the y-axis. It means the 0 of this polynomial is negative as well. For example, suppose this point is -1, that means 0 of the polynomial is -1. Okay, here definitely it is neither straight line nor a parabola. So we cannot say, or definitely we can say it is neither a linear polynomial nor a quadratic polynomial. Might be cubic, might be biquadratic, that we are least bothered. But definitely it is not a linear polynomial, it is not a quadratic polynomial. Now it intersects the x-axis at 4 points, so it has 4 zeros. Definitely it has 4 zeros. Now this intersects the x-axis at 2 points, so it has 2 zeros, as well as it's a parabola, so it's a quadratic polynomial. Over here it intersects the x-axis at 1 point, so it is a it has 1 0, but again we cannot say whether it's a linear or whether it's a parabola. So this is the one type of question that can be asked on the with the help of the graph. Now one more thing which sometime they may ask, that a parabola is given to you and they will ask the sine of a in the standard form. If the standard form is ax square plus uh, bx plus c, then with the help of the graph they can ask you what is the sine of, generally they ask the sine of a and at the max sine of c, that we can identify just by seeing the graph. Here graph is open upwards, so definitely a is positive. Here graph is open downward, definitely a is negative. So first thing, for open upward, open upwards, a is positive. For open downwards, a is negative. So first thing. Second thing, sine of c. So see, this graph intersects the y-axis in the negative point. So here c is negative. This graph intersects the y-axis at the positive point. So c is positive. Basically, you concentrate on this: open upwards positive, open downwards negative. Okay, so that is all about the zeros of the polynomial. Now one more concept that we have to see, that is relationship between zeros and the coefficients of a quadratic polynomial. relationship between zeros and the relationship between zeros and coefficient of polynomial. So over here basically we have to work on the quadratic polynomial. Okay, so suppose we have a polynomial px equal to ax square plus bx plus c. Okay, and let zeros be alpha and beta. So what you have to remember, alpha plus beta, that is sum of zeros, that is alpha plus beta is equal to minus of b upon a, or in other words minus of coefficient of x upon coefficient of x square, coefficient of x square, that is the sum of zeros minus b upon a. Now second is product of zeros, alpha beta is given uh, by c upon a, that is constant term. Now instead of constant term I can also write coefficient of x, but here it is constant term upon coefficient of x square, coefficient of x square. Okay, sum of zeros, product of zeros, minus of coefficient of x upon coefficient of x square. Here you can observe that denominator is always same in both the cases, that is coefficient of x square, coefficient of x square. Suppose if we talk about the same thing, that is the relationship between zeros and coefficients of a cubic polynomial, over there again you will find the denominator is coefficient of x cube. That means denominator is always the coefficient of the leading term. Okay, so this you have to remember. Now two types of question can be asked on this concept. The first thing that they will ask you that find the zeros of the given polynomial and verify the relationship between zeros and coefficient. And second thing, if sum of zeros and product of zeros both things are given, then find the polynomial, or if zeros are given, then find the polynomial. So we will see these questions one by one. So first we will see that find the relationship between the zeros and the coefficients, verify the relationship between zeros and coefficients. So suppose we have polynomial px equal to x square plus 5x plus 6. Now over here what you have to do, you have to find the zeros. First of all you have to find the zeros, then you have to establish a relation, or you have to verify the relation between the zeros and the coefficients. So to get the zeros of this, you have to use the concept of splitting the middle term. In other words, you have to find the factors of the given polynomial. So let us see how we will proceed. So let px is equal to 0. Therefore x square plus 5x plus 6 equal to 0. Now here we have to split the middle term, that means 5x. For that we will find the factors of 6, that are 2, 3 and 1. Using this will obtain the middle term. So 2x plus 3x, because their sum is 5x, plus 6 is equal to 0. So x is taken common, x plus 2, 3 is taken common, x plus 2 is equal to 0. Therefore x plus 2, x plus 3 equal to 0. So this gives you x equal to minus 2 and x equal to minus 3. Therefore I can say one of the 0 is alpha and another 0 is beta. So here I can say that is the first part of the question is over. That means we obtain the zeros. Now next thing you have to establish, next thing you have to verify the relationship between zeros and coefficient. That means you have to check whether the sum of the zeros which we obtain by adding them is equal to that formula or not. What was the sum of zeros? Minus b upon a. So we'll add the zeros directly and we'll find minus b upon a, and then we'll check whether they are equal or not. So we have to verify, that means they must be equal, and if they are not equal, it means definitely we are committing some mistake. Okay, so we'll start here. Verification. Okay, so zeros sum of zeros, that is alpha plus beta, that is minus 2 plus minus 3, that is minus 5. Now sum of zeros is equal to minus b upon a, that is minus of, now what is b over here? B is the coefficient of x, that is 5, and a is 1, that is minus 5. So therefore thus I can say alpha plus beta is equal to minus b upon a is verified. Okay, now the similar way we'll verify the relationship for the product. Okay, now product of zeros is equal to alpha into beta, so minus 2 multiplied by minus 3, that is 6. Okay, now again product of zeros is equal to c upon a, that is 6 upon 1, that is 6. So thus here I can say this, alpha into beta is equal to c upon a is verified. Okay, this you have to do, and be sure that you will definitely get this type of sum in your final exams. So okay, that was the first type of category of question that may be asked on this concept, that is relationship between zeros and coefficient of the polynomial. Now second, that we'll see when zeros will be given to you and you have to obtain the values of, you have to obtain the polynomial. So we'll see one question related to that as well. Okay, so for that we use one formula directly. Okay, so before I come to the question, let me remind you about that note, that if alpha and beta are zeros of polynomial px, then px is equal to, polynomial is given by k into x square minus alpha plus beta x plus alpha beta. That means k into x square minus sum of zeros multiplied by x plus product of polynomials. Now we'll see one question based on that. See, suppose sum is given. Okay, sum is given 1 by 2, product is given minus 3. Sum is 1 by 2 and product is minus 3, and we have to find the polynomial, obtain the polynomial. So simply what I do that px is equal to k into, okay, here one thing you can specify more, that k belongs to real number. Okay, k px is equal to k, then x square minus sum of zeros into x plus product of zeros. First we do write that formula and then we'll just put the values. So therefore px is equal to k multiplied by x square minus, now sum of zeros, that is 1 by 2, so 1 by 2x, and product is minus 3. So ultimately I can write px is equal to k x square minus x by 2 minus 3. That is the final answer. At the max you can take the LCM, but this k remains as it is. See, when you take the LCM, this 1 by 2 come over here it will become k by 2. And if k belongs to real number, definitely k by 2 belongs to real number. So this is the second type of question that can be asked on the basis of on the concept based on relationship between zeros and the coefficients of the polynomial. Okay, now we'll see one more type of question. However, chances are very less that they will ask this type of question, but uh, as we started the revision, so we'll see in short. Okay, so suppose there is a polynomial. Let me take any polynomial. X square plus 5x plus 6. Okay, now they will ask if uh, if zeros of this polynomial are alpha and beta, then find a polynomial whose zeros are 1 upon alpha and 1 upon beta, or find the polynomial or find the values of simply 1 upon alpha plus 1 upon beta. If alpha beta are zeros of this, then find the value of this. So alpha beta are zeros of this, so I can write alpha plus beta equal to minus b upon a, that is minus 5. Also I can write alpha into beta is equal to c upon a, that is 6 upon 1, that is 6, isn't it? If alpha and beta are zeros of this polynomial, sum of 0 minus 5, product of 0 c upon a. Now I have to obtain the value of this expression, 1 upon alpha plus 1 upon beta. So if I take the LCM, this will become alpha beta, here it will become beta plus alpha. Now alpha plus beta is minus 5 upon alpha beta is 6. So this is my answer. So without actually obtaining the alpha and beta, it is possible to get the value of this type of expression. So that is, however, chances are very less that they will ask you this type of question, but just on the safer side. Now, other than this, now in this particular chapter, now we have the relationship between zeros and the coefficients of a cubic polynomial that is omitted from your syllabus, as well as the long division method that is again omitted from your syllabus. So here, that's all about this particular chapter, revision of this chapter. Okay, so now in next lecture we will start uh, next chapter, that is uh, next chapter is pair of linear equation in two variables. So we'll meet in next lecture. Thank you.